Hi, my name is Jonathan Hicks, and this evening I'm joined by
Mark.
and we've just finished playing Undertow, which is a standalone expansion to Too Many Bones, which is one of my favourite games actually. And Too Many Bones was originally kickstarted, and this was also kickstarted, but it's a much smaller package than the original. So it comes with two heroes. We've got Duster, you see here, who comes with a Nightshade, I think, her kind of pet wolf who helps her. And the other hero it comes with is Stanza. If you move the dice, you can see here, who's like a bard type character. There are obviously add-on characters you can buy for this, so you can increase the number of players potentially up to 4, but this base standalone expansion, if you like, is playable with up to 2 players. Now, I'm not going to explain Too Many Bones. I'm going to assume you already know how that works. I'm just going to explain what this adds and what's different. Broadly speaking, it's very much a similar kind of game. So you have encounters. You kind of go through this deck here of various different encounters. Each day you have some flavor text, and you typically have a couple of decisions to make. In fact, this one is just one decision. But you're going to get then some rewards, which might be to kind of level up your character, or you can get loot and things, and you're trying to make progress. Each game you're playing, you're going to have some tyrant to try and defeat. So we kind of start off up here in Obendar, and we've worked our way down the Cibron River here, trying to get to Carlson, who's this giant kind of ape character who we've been trying to fight. You track the rounds again like this with the day tracker. But then typically, once you've made your choice, you can have some kind of battle. And one key thing that this set adds is the raft, if you like, a different kind of battle map, which adds a few different mechanisms to the game. So partly, obviously, you can see you're on a raft. The starting positions are different, though, which is interesting. So normally in the base game, the baddies would just be at the top and the heroes would start at the bottom. But in this, the baddies are starting on these coloured spaces at the top or the bottom, and we kind of start in the middle. So we kind of been boarded on either side by the baddies while we sail down the river. But you can also get fish type baddies, Krellin I think they're called. So this, for example, appears, this nasty little fish, and sort of attacks the raft from the side. Now, if you are next to the raft here when this thing attacks, then it obviously attacks you. But if you're not next to it, then this attacks and damages the raft. You can see you've got these damage chips here you place on, and that makes it more difficult. If you want to move onto this space, you have to spend an extra dexterity. Remember, you're spending dex to move around as well as spending the dex to roll the dice. So using up one of your precious dexterity to move onto a space is quite restrictive. And there's a few other interesting mechanics, like this one will kind of hop around the submerged, meaning it disappears under the water and pops up somewhere else potentially and then attacks. So it's hard to pin these guys down. You can also get knocked off the raft into the river, in which case you've got to spend dex again to climb back onto the raft before you can do anything else. And again, if it's damaged, that's extra dex. So it's kind of one to haul yourself out of a river, another one just to move, and another one potentially if you have to land on one of these damaged spots. So you could be using up to 3 dex just to get off the water back onto the raft. But as usual, fighting the various baddies in various different ways. There are some extra abilities and things. So Blind Strike just hits for one next to him, even if it's on our side or on his side, if you like. He just blindly hits out. Dodge means you can't use attack dice when attacking this one. So there's a nice set of extra keywords and things, as you see, like the submerge thing, which means it moves from place to place. So there's quite a few different types of baddies, plus different kinds of keywords and things that they've added, which gives you a nice set of variety. There's quite a bit of variety compared with the base game. Just to talk briefly about the extra characters then. So Standa is a bard character, and very interestingly, she is singing songs. So you kind of start when you have one of these songs, you sort of preload it at the start, spending a dex to get this out. And each of these dice do different things. There's a nice, in fact, let me just show you the summary sheets here. These make it very clear what you get on the different dice. So the orange dice is one sort of route of songs. The purple dice is another kind of route. The light blue ones here you can see are basically for attack. But this particular one does a variety of different things, and after you've sort of played it, you then have to advance to the next stage of the song, and it advances to the next stage of the song, and then each time it does something different, and it usually gets better as it goes. But she has to maintain focus, so she has this focus die, which she keeps here, which tells you how many different songs potentially she can be playing at once. So it's a very interesting character, very different from the other characters, and the character I was playing in this particular game is Duster, who is very much about dealing damage. She was actually one of the baddies from the base game, so interesting bit of theme there. It sort of flips it around and you're kind of running away from the council in this one, trying to escape. So she hits very hard, and she has this kind of pet, as I say, comes on and fights with you. But you can upgrade your pet as well as giving her extra damage abilities in various ways. So again, nice bit of variety. They've done a great job, I should say, in terms of varying the different characters. Even these new ones feel very different from the other ones. The other one we were playing with was Gasket, which is a kind of giant mech type creature who's great as a tank, great for defense. There's lots more loot, interesting loot cards they've added. But interestingly, it's a completely standalone game. So you get all the attack dice, all the defense dice you need, the various effect dice. It gives you everything to play, but it's significantly cheaper. It's an important point compared with the original Too Many Bones base game. So if you want to jump on, this does it very well. All right, what do we think?
I think I find this difficult to give my opinion's kind of mixed on this one, but not for the obvious reasons. As a player who's played Too Many Bones before, and already, you can see in the previous review, really enjoyed it. I really enjoy this too. It's more, and that's great for somebody who owns Too Many Bones. You've got new characters, slight additions to mechanisms to mix stuff a bit, all the sort of things you want out of an expansion. So for me, come out that way, it's fantastic. But I'm a bit mixed on it as coming from the new player perspective, because yes, it's cheaper, which it needs to be, because the base game of Too Many Bones is super expensive, the amount of dice and the cost to produce it. So I understand that perfectly. But it's things like, okay, it has added new mechanisms on top of the base mechanisms. So as a new player, you're already getting pushed with more than a new player of the original base game would be. Also, you on the base one, unless you're going to go out and buy extra characters, you are limited to 2, which limits it to 2-player game, which may be a good way of getting into it. But I think the thing that would hurt me most is the bit I enjoy about this most is the variation of the characters. And ultimately, if you've got out bought that and you've got 2 characters, you're missing half the fun of it, which is I want to try loads of different things. So I think as an expansion to the base game, it's amazing. As an introduction, its advantage is the price, but I think you're only getting... It's like a taster. It's like buying a single magic deck, like a pre-built magic deck, and then going, but you're going to enjoy it. You're going to be wanting to spend a lot more money. And so it's a weird... It doesn't quite sit with me as good on that, if you know what I mean. It's hard to say. That's how I do feel about it.
Okay, rating?
As an expansion to the standalone, probably 8.5, 9. As an introduction, I'd probably give it a... Ooh, still a really good game though, so 7.5.
Okay. I think the base game is fantastic, Too Many Bones. I'd probably rate it a 9 out of 10, I think. This one, I think Mark's right. I'd agree with all of his comments. As an introduction, it does add a bit of a complexity. The rules are tighter. The original rulebook was a little bit difficult to fathom in places, and this one is definitely better than that one. But there are still issues where you're not quite sure about what does this effect mean, what does that effect mean, timing issues, things like that, just because it's a very complex game. So for a new player jumping in, although, as Mark says, it's cheaper, it's still going to be quite a brain strain getting your head around all the rules and working out how it works. As an expansion, I think it's fantastic. I don't think it could do anything better, really, as an expansion. Love the extra characters, love the extra variety. They've included a lot more of in terms of the encounters you go through. There's more encounters. You're not just doing the same encounters over again, which you were to a certain extent in the base game, but there's variability in the starting encounters and things. They've done a great job with that. I like all the new loot, the effects. We've got a catapult going in this game, which is great fun. You kind of chuck other loot that you don't really want at them, and it does damage to the baddies, so that was great fun. So lots of nice little things like that. I'd be on a 10 out of 10 for the expansion. If you've already got Too Many Bones, I think you really need to get this one if you like it, because it's fantastic. All right, thanks very much for watching. That was Undertow.